All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's training. This is 5x your income overnight with one premium offer. So I'm really excited to be here with this today because there's a little bit of a practical part to this and an actual fact we wrote down here, and I've got some notes to follow today, is we're going to look at creating and selling premium packages. And one of this is practical, and 99% of this is a way of being that I call Divatude. Let me just give you the definition of what Divatude is. Divatude is a way of being for men, Divos, and women, Divas, right? So it's both men and women, that through consciously self-creating the most powerful and loving way of being your true self gives you access to being a client and a money magnet, and makes growth in income feel like magic. And I call this magical marketing. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nicki Shira Byrne, and I have been in the coaching and self-development industry, including having had 2 marketing agencies under my belt for the last 15 years. So I am no stranger to what it takes to create clients and income in this industry. So let me just check that you're in the right place before we go ahead, okay? Now, what I want to also share with you before I do that, though, is that when we're looking at premium offers, so if you've been thinking about charging premium fees for your offers, then you're in the right place. And what I want to share with you is that premium offers facilitate this way of being that I'm calling Divitude, so that you can be a better coach or a healer or a teacher. But this will also affect your whole life. So what you're going to learn here on today's call is not just about becoming a client and a money magnet. It is actually going to turn you into a magnet for anything that you want to attract. But today's focus really is on creating those premium offers and drawing in and creating those beautiful clients who will pay you your value. So if you're joining me either live or the replay, please comment so that I know that you're there. And I will always come back and return your comments. So whatever you write in here, if I don't get to you straight away now, I'll come back into the group later on and I will comment back to you, okay? And I will also say that if anything is ever resonating with you in any of my trainings that I do, always feel free to drop me a private message, because I love having conversations with people. This is what I do. Whether you're paying me or not, it is more important to me that I help you than you becoming a client, especially given that I only take on about 16 clients a year anyway, so I have very limited space. So very often what I do is I help a lot of people in the background. I call this loving clients into being, and it's a beautiful way of doing things. It's a beautiful way of creating clients without doing marketing and sales. So I hope that today I'll be able to share a little bit of that with you. So who is this for? Let me share so you know that you're in the right place. This is for you if you're a heart-centered, service-based entrepreneur, a coach, a healer, a creative, or a teacher who has reached an income ceiling. So maybe you're making money already, and you might be making enough money, but it's either a struggle or maybe you just want to make a whole bunch more money, right? Who doesn't want to do that? It's also for you if you've tried all of the marketing and the sales strategies, as well as the mindset work and the healing work and the embodiment work, but nothing is giving you the rapid growth that you are hungry for. And it's for you if you have a vision and you want to make a big impact on the people that you work with. But marketing and sales and technology and all of that kind of stuff is pulling you away from just focusing on being with your clients. So this is for you if that sounds like you. So now that you know you're in the right place, okay, let me share with you first of all the 1%. what you are doing. This is the 1%. This is why now most of the marketing work that I do is kind of DIY. It's in a video program. You get some support from me. So people who work with me are mainly working on DIVATUDE, this way of being, the 99% that helps you attract clients and money. But the actual marketing piece of it now is something that I'm only really doing in the background. I have videos, I have resources, and then the clients that I'm working with can reach out to me and have my help with that. So there's really only two parts to this first part, this 1%, excuse me, while I took a drink. So first of all, we're talking about one premium offer. So why one offer? Well, one offer is simple and easy. When you have one offer, you only need one message. So you're not like talking to a million different people and saying a million different things, which can be really confusing to people when you're marketing or when you're being visible, okay? When you have one offer, you can really hone it. You can really make it really good, the best you can, because you only have one thing to offer and one thing to concentrate on. So that means that you can actually get the best results for your clients. Now, I'm going to just check to see if there's any comments coming in here because I'm not seeing any. So do comment if you're here. And the other reason why having one offer is so good is because you become known as an expert in this one thing. And when you become known as an expert in one thing, people remember, that's the girl who offers Divitude, for example, or that's the woman who talks about becoming a client and a money magnet, okay, without marketing and sales. And the other reason why having one offer is important is because your content gets to be aligned to whatever that offer is. So I talk about not having to do marketing and sales, okay? And today we're really focused on 5xing your income or more. That could be 10xing or 20xing, or it could be 2xing, whatever is right for you, where you are right now. But I talk a lot about not having to do marketing and sales and this magical marketing. And what I mean by that is not doing the traditional stuff that you see, but being visible is important. But I will share more on that in another training, okay? Because you do need to let people know that you exist. However, how you do that can be far simpler. So when you are being visible, if you only have one offer, all you actually need to do is align all of your content with that one offer. So everyone that reaches out to you is more likely to be your ideal client and be a good fit. And then that way, those people are going to get much better results. And you're not going to waste as much time on trying to figure out, if they're a good fit, or you're not going to have to tailor make things for them or whatever it might look like. So this is why one offer. So this is the practical side. The second practical side of this 1% of practicality of all of this is that raising your prices on a practical level is actually easy, okay? Because this is where the other 99% of this comes in. It's all really about who you are being, the other 99%, right? So we'll get into that in a moment. But raising your prices on a practical level is really kind of easy. Now, I'm going to share, for those of you who want to have it, and I think I've shared it before, a spreadsheet. And in this spreadsheet, you get to look at what your lifestyle needs to look like so that you can be the best version of yourself. Now, what I mean by that is when I show up to my clients, I've made the commitment to being the most loving person that I can possibly be, okay? And all I do literally every day is be loving and be present to everybody that I'm in touch with. So whether that's on a training like this or when I'm writing a piece of content, and usually the way that I like to reach out to people, and it can be different from person to person, is to simply have one-on-one relationships. So if you haven't heard from me yet, or you may have already, you might be in a conversation with me where we're just messaging each other, or I'm sending you resources or whatever that might look like. And so for me to be able to show up to my clients and the people that I'm speaking to every day in the most loving way that I can possibly be, and that is so important because loving people first and foremost is actually more impactful than any of your qualifications or any methods or systems or strategies that you might have. Because really, in this day, people need love more than anything else. And just doing that can actually create more of an impact on people that actually makes you that client magnet, right? But in order for me to be that loving all the time, there's a certain amount of, you know, putting things in place in my life. Like, for example, I don't do anything that is not a pleasure. If I don't enjoy things in my life or in my business, and really it's all become one thing for me right now, then that lowers my vibration. So I'm always doing things that I enjoy. I make sure I create lots of time for downtime, lots of time for my well-being, for self-care. So my whole life has become all about me recreating myself every day to be the best version of me that I can be. So why I raise my prices and why I charge premium fees and why you can too, is because it's big. A big part of it is about looking at that lifestyle that helps me to be that to all of the people that I'm in touch with regularly and my clients. And when we look at this lifestyle, when you look at your lifestyle that helps you to be that best version, you then need to look at how much it costs to have that lifestyle. So this is what I mean about how easy it is to price your programs, right? Then you look at how many clients you can see comfortably. Now, you might be working one-on-one with people, or you might be working in a group. That's up to you. But let's just take the example of one-on-one. So for me, I can comfortably see 16 clients. I have a hybrid program. And I run it twice a year. There's 8 people on each. It's called Infinite Creators. And so it's partly group, partly one-on-one. And I can see 8 people at a time comfortably. So that's 16 clients a year, right? And then I divide the yearly number of clients into my yearly expenses. So I look at how much my life costs. I include absolutely everything. So this spreadsheet that I have will actually help you to be able to include absolutely every single thing that you need to spend your money on right now, and also for your future vision. So I mentioned at the start, if you have a vision, this is the right place for you. So for those of you who have big visions, and the bigger the better, and I really encourage big visions, like outrageous visions that seem unimaginable, they're the best visions, then we look also at how much that lifestyle costs. So we can then start to look at the pricing for each individual client based on that this is your sole income, based on how much, somewhere in between how much you need to be earning right now to support your current lifestyle to how much you need to be earning to support your future vision. And that basically, in a nutshell, is how you price a premium package, all right? But this is where we get into the other 99%, because the 1% really looks easy, but it's the 99% that gets in the way. And this is who you are being. And through doing this work, what I call Divitude, and working on this other 99%, and creating a powerful and loving way of being so that you become a client and a money magnet and a magnet to everything. Because when you are so powerful and loving and being in this way, you literally just attract people like a magnet. What it does is it makes the other 1% work like magic. So that's why raising prices, doing marketing, or being visible in any way that you choose starts to work like magic. That's why I call it magical marketing. And you don't need to do anywhere near as much of it. In actual fact, I believe that marketing and sales, especially sales, are optional and often become obsolete when you live in this way and when you become the best version of you and show up in that way. So we're going to look at that. But before we look at exactly what it is to be this other 99%, to create this way of being, I'm just going to share a little bit about this understanding beforehand. So who you are being is based on your habitual thinking. So everyone has habitual thinking, but most of us, unfortunately, are in the habit of thinking in a way that's not very helpful. A lot of it's negative thinking, a lot of it's low quality thinking. It keeps our vibe low. A lot of it's conditioning, a lot of it's old stuff that's just kind of not useful and not helpful, right? So let me know if you're hearing me on that. The cool thing is, as human beings, also who you are being can change depending on which thoughts you choose to focus on. So, creating yourself, self creation, divitude, as I call it, is all about changing your habitual thinking, because your habitual thinking creates your experience of life. It creates who you're being. You feel what you're thinking, right? And when you're feeling things on the inside, that then affects the world around you. So you can even have an effect when you work internally on what's happening externally. You affect other people. This is how you become a client and a money magnet, okay? So who you're being can change depending on which thoughts you choose. So if you choose to transmute unhelpful thoughts that create messes into love, which when I speak about love, I talk about the creative energy, the life force. You are love, I am love, all this is love, and love is all there is. That is the creative life force. You literally are riding a wave of love, and you are being backed by that love in creating things. And that is why this 99%, this work of being the most powerful, loving person you can be, makes that other 1%, that marketing and raising prices and all of that kind of stuff, work like magic. It really does, okay? So let me look at this for you. First of all, it's what you are thinking around raising your prices and charging premium fees that is the problem. And this is why you are not selling premium packages regularly. All right, or selling packages at the fees that you would like to be selling. So maybe you're already selling packages that are premium fees, but if you'd like to be raising your prices even more. So if you're selling premium fees to me are £4,000, dollars, euro, whatever plus, okay? But I have clients who are charging more than that, who are charging maybe 10K. I know people who charge 20K. I know a coach who's not a client of mine who charges 150K, all right? So anything that is your value, and we will look at how to put a monetary value on your fees in a moment so that it feels right for you, okay? So it's all around what you're thinking, and this is why you are not, okay, attracting people to your packages and selling your packages. There is absolutely no magic place where high-paying clients hang out. I'm going to repeat this because I don't know how many times I've said this in my content during the week, and I still get people asking me, where can I find people who will pay premium fees? I'm going to repeat it again. There is no magic place where high-paying clients hang out. No one has 5K, 10K, 20K, whatever you're charging, in a coaching savings account. People do not save up for coaching. I've been in this industry 15 years. I swear to you, nobody ever has a bank account just for saving up for coaching. So every single person that ever invests in coaching, it is a push for them. It is a squeeze. It is outside of their comfort zone. And I will be sharing with you how that's actually a really, really good thing, and it will work in your favor and in their favor. So some of the other thoughts that you might be having, and what I'm going to encourage you to do as I'm saying these, is if you are having any thinking around premium fees, like low quality thinking, fears, all of that kind of stuff, please share it in the comments now and I can address this. But some of the other ones that come up are, I can't charge that unless I have a qualification, right? Or I don't feel right about charging so much when others work for so little. Like, what about bartenders who are earning $5 an hour or whatever it might be, okay? Or people who clean houses. Also, people say things like, it feels more about the money than being of service when I start to put the fees up, like I'm a money grabber or a gold digger, right? And they want to be of service and they want to help, but it starts to feel more about the money, okay? So I'm going to give you a quick case study on this, and if you're still listening and if you're watching the replay, do type in what other thinking you might be having around charging premium fees. All right. And it's always the thinking that is getting in the way. Always. And that's it. Because really charging premium fees is literally as easy as doing this spreadsheet that I shared with you in the first part of this training. Okay. So I had a client called Xiaoli. She was a Chinese lady who was a relationship coach. She was living in the United States and was married to an American gentleman. When she reached out to me, she asked me if I would help her to earn high fees. She had a big vision of living a very high level lifestyle, going to nice hotels, going to golf courses, traveling with her husband, all of that kind of stuff, right? She liked fashion. She liked the finer things in life. At the time that I met her, she was doing a meetup group in the San Francisco Bay Area and was charging something like $10 or $20 per person. And these were the only people she knew. This was her list, okay? So these were all Asian women. She worked primarily with Asian women to help them to create relationships. I think primarily marriage, if I can recall, as expat Asian women living in the United States. This was her area of expertise. So I asked her, I said, is there anybody in your meetup group that would work with you at a higher fee? And she said, no, absolutely not. It's really hard even just to get like a few $100s out of them. I stand up at the class, at the end of every class, and I tell them, if you'd like to work with me, come and speak to me after class. And sometimes I get somebody signing up for, $100 for a class with me or a coaching session with me or something like that. And that's it. There's no way. It's hard just to even get that out of them. So we worked together. We did some work for like 90 minutes on a call. This is my usual thing. I usually do a declutter. I help you to create your offer. We look at exactly who your ideal client is, what their biggest pain point is, what their biggest result is that they want to get, and then we create an offer very quickly. We package it up depending on how long it will take for you to get them that result, whether that's 3 months or 6 months or a year or whatever that might look like. And then we do the spreadsheet and we put a price on it. So I gave Xiaoli all of that work to do, and she came back to me and she told me, Nicki, I'm going to charge $8,000 for my program. And within a few weeks, she came back to me and had sold her first package to one of the ladies at the meetup group where she absolutely was sure nobody would pay for it. A few weeks later, again, she sold a second package, and before the end of our program, which was a 3 or 4 month program, if I recall, she had sold 3 packages at $8,000, all of them to the people in her meetup group. Now, the big thing that I noticed with Xiaoli was that Xiaoli had absolutely zero resistance about putting up her fees, because she simply did not have any mindset issues or any insecure thinking around charging premium fees. And so for her, it was that top 1% part where it was as simple as doing the spreadsheet, seeing how much her lifestyle will cost, and putting the price on there, and also just feeling it in her value, that she knew that the work that she did was worth $8,000. And it was as simple as that. Now, the thing is, most people are not as easy to do that with, right? Most people go into their thinking. Most people go into their conditioning. Most people are afraid of their own thoughts, right? But really, thoughts are just thoughts. And because of what I shared with you a moment ago, you get to choose which thinking you want to focus on. So you become your habitual thinking. So when you can create the habit of shifting away and transmuting the old habitual thinking that gets in your way, that is the obstacle to you being in the flow of love, that is the life force that makes you become a magnet to everything, including money and clients that pay you your value, then you simply start to create new habitual thinking, and you can recreate yourself every single day. I will give you another case study in a moment where the case was different, because this lady did have a lot of resistance, okay? But before I do that, I'm going to share with you why making low cost offers and downsells is actually repelling people and making your work harder, right? So first of all, let's look at when you charge premium fees. and when it's a squeeze for people, when it's hard, and it always is. Remember, I told you nobody has a coaching bank account. Nobody has savings for coaching, right? So when you charge these premium fees and it's a squeeze, what happens is you actually start to attract more resourceful people. And not only do you attract more resourceful people, but you help people to become more resourceful. Now, once they've gone out and made the effort, or they've either created the money to pay you, or they've gotten into debt and it feels really uncomfortable for them, right? Because it always does. And they've actually already, at that stage, they've actually already broken past so much of their resistance that by the time they come to work with you, they don't really even need you. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. In other words, having you as their coach or their healer or their teacher is not what they don't need to rely on you to get the results in any area. So you don't have to be a person that helps people to make money. If you help people lose weight, if you help people to find relationships or solve their marriage issues, if you help people to do yoga, whatever area it is that you do, if you help people to connect to spirits, through having premium fees and actually attracting people who are resourceful and helping them to become more resourceful, because when they really want to work with you and they go out and they push themselves or get themselves into debt, because this debt is like, this is investing in yourself as a asset, not a liability, right? That's a different way of investing. But when they actually do that, they have actually overcome mindset blocks. And when you overcome a mindset block in one area of your life, that person has already made a huge shift that when they work with you, they can overcome any mindset block that's going to get in the way of them losing weight, creating love, resolving their marriage issues, doing yoga, whatever that might be. So you don't have to be helping people to make money, but by the time they get to working with you, they literally barely need you. Okay, you'll have an area of expertise, of course, that you'll work with them on. You may be a teacher or a mentor as well, but just that one little thing. And what that does is that makes clients that get amazing results. And when clients get amazing results, those are the kind of clients that keep coming back to you for repeat business. Those are the kind of clients that when they go out into the world, people notice the difference and they ask, hey, what the heck are you doing with yourself? And they say, well, I went to this coach and she helped me with this. And then you get people coming to you. And this is how you can literally build a business, a premium, high ticket service business on repeat business and referrals, because you start to be a coach or a teacher or a healer that actually has huge impact on people even before they have actually started working with you. Okay, now if you're not getting this on a soul level yet, if you're not just feeling this yet, but you're getting it somewhat on an intellectual level, stick with me, because the grounding of this comes with a little bit more work. Okay, you may or may not get that in today's training, but stick with our trainings, and I've got another announcement at the end of this training as well, which you may be interested in. All right, so when you lower your costs, so this is why when you lower your costs, you're actually repelling people. You're doing a huge disservice to both you and the client. Sure, you might get more clients, right? But you have to work harder, and then you get really stressed over it, right? So then you burn out and all of that kind of stuff. And then you can't be the best version of yourself when you show up for people. And your clients are not as committed or resourceful in coming up with the answers themselves. So they're putting all the weight on you to get them results. You have to work your butt off to do that, to get your clients results. And it shouldn't be up to you, it should be up to your clients. That's why having resourceful clients is so important. And that's why charging premium fees helps to attract more resourceful people and increases the resourcefulness in those clients. And the other reason why lowering your costs or charging too little repels people is that they get lower results, right? So maybe it doesn't repel people, but when you do get those kinds of clients, they get lower results and they're less likely to come back again or send referrals. So you end up with basically a bunch of clients that just kind of do okay or don't do very well at all, right? And who wants that? You can't run a business in that way, right? So you end up then suffering as well because you're not like getting great results for your clients. So here's how working hard to get clients is lowering your value. So I like to use the word create clients because through being this way, you are actually creating clients. And what I mean by that is you are being from the inside. And remember that on the outside, then, from who you are being on the inside, you are actually having an influence on the outside world, including other people. So you actually create how other people are, or you have some influence in creating how other people are. So how working hard to create clients is lowering your value. Your value is who you are being. It's not what you're doing. Part of it's what you're doing. If you have a great coaching certification or qualification, or if you've got, like me, 15 years of experience in marketing for coaches and business building for coaches, all of those things are very useful. And of course, bringing those into what you're offering is important, but that is not where it's at. More than anything, if you didn't have anything to offer, if you had no area of expertise and you only showed up and were just present with people, and I sometimes joke about this, that actually just being in my presence will change you, and it can be true, and I've been told this many times, and I actually say this now because I believe in it myself. And I have been in coaches' presence, and think about anybody that you've ever been in, just in their presence, and just being in their presence changes you. Being in their energetic field changes you. So your value is who you are being, not what you're doing. So putting a monetary value on yourself and who you are being based on what you do in your life to cultivate this way of being is really important. So I can tell you that my monetary value I have figured out, and I didn't just pluck this number out of the sky. This is just what came when I did the calculations, because I don't work on one-off sessions with people. But when I looked at the calculations, my one-on-one hourly rate is €1,234. That monetary value, I absolutely 100% see that in myself. I feel that value in myself because everything I'm doing in my life day to day, from self-creation work, which is self-inquiry work that I do in a form of journaling, to working 3 weeks a month. So I take a week off every single month. I call it my pleasure week. And I spend that whole week just being in pleasure, right? Just having fun and doing all the things that I enjoy. Taking weekends off, taking time for self-care, all of the things that I do to create who I am being and recreate who I am being, and looking at the obstacles that are in the way and the fears, and fearlessly standing up and facing those and transmuting them to love, and investing in coaches and all of the things that I do. That is my value. So that when I show up and I am just present with you for 1 hour one-on-one, even my presence alone, if I didn't do anything with you, is worth €1,234. And I feel that in everything in my being. So you need to feel your value. So when you work out your monetary value, and I think it's always useful to put an hourly rate on that, even if you don't charge hourly, and embody that and feel it and know your value. And that can go up over time. So if you're not feeling it now, lower it down a little bit and just charge the value and put the monetary value on yourself per hour for what feels right for you in this moment, okay? And loving clients and potential clients is far more impactful than your qualifications or your copy or your fancy website. So in other words, if you simply are able to cultivate this powerful and loving way of being every day, then when you have a conversation with somebody, whether that's just talking to somebody on Messenger or having a phone call with somebody that you've never worked with that's not paying you, or whether that's actually getting on calls with clients who are paying you, it doesn't actually matter whether they're paying you or not. It doesn't matter what your qualifications are. It doesn't matter how many strings you have to your bow. We put so much pressure on ourselves to have all these extra things, adding and adding and adding. And in actual fact, they can be really distracting because they can actually take us away from just being present and loving the person in front of you and connecting with them on a soul level. That alone, there are so few people in this entire world doing anything like that, can actually change people's lives. So that can have so much more impact. And when you do that, then you don't have to have as many qualifications. Then you don't have to have perfect copy. I just rattle things off at this stage when I'm typing my content or sharing videos. And, most of what comes to me is that people come back and say, I love your energy. I just want to be some version of what you are. They might not want to be me or have my life, but I'm sure you've seen this yourself where people come to you and say, I just want to be like you. And that's why people will go out and get into debt and put things on credit cards and work hard to create premium fees so that they can work with you. But you have to see the value in yourself before anybody else does, okay? So asking for more attracts resourceful people and increases the resourcefulness in those people, thus leads them to getting better results. So when you are on a call with somebody, if you do your sales on calls or whatever way you do this, if you are with clients that you already are working with and they are already getting results, but you're charging them a small amount of money, and if you want to get them more results, if you want to help them further along in their journey, consider asking for more. So think about this. Where are you asking for too little? Right? And look at that and consider asking for more. A lot of times we just don't ask, and we don't ask for enough. So you can ask for more money. You can ask for more connections. You can ask your clients to refer people to you. Think of all the areas where you're not asking and ask for more. You can ask for opportunities. If you feel like you'd love to be in a magazine, reach out to the magazine and tell them that you'd like to be in that magazine. Ask. If you don't ask, you won't know. Ask and you shall receive. Ask the universe. Meditate on it. Pray. Do whatever you want, but ask. And don't just ask for enough. Ask for more. And again, it attracts people who are resourceful, and it increases the resourcefulness in those people, and they will get better results. And when your clients are getting better results, you will get them coming back over and over again, and they will send people to you as well. The more difficult it is to find the investment to work with you, the bigger the commitment and the bigger the results. That is the truth, and I've seen this over and over again. So here's why all your clients are getting better results. Here's why when all your clients are getting better results, marketing and sales become optional, if not obsolete. It's kind of a no-brainer. You get repeat business, they come back to you. You get referrals, and people notice the change in them, right? You literally people start to come up to your clients and say, what's going on? So this happened with one of my clients recently, who we have a creation game called the Diva creation game, where it's like a self-inquiry where we ask 3 questions. We look at how we're creating things through our thoughts and obstacles, and then we transmute those obstacles into love. And then we look at what we want to create, and then we look at who we can be right now and embody being that to create what we want to create. So they're like 3 or 4 questions. So my client was suffering from depression, and he was attending a regular group for like a support group for depressed people, right? And he attended this group, and when he walked in, everyone said, oh my goodness, there's a big change in you, what's going on? And he said, oh, well, I've been working with this coach, and we've been doing this creation game and asking these questions and doing a self-inquiry. So my client shared with me then that he shared the same questions, and that night at the support group, all of the people who were attending that support group that they'd been in for years and years started doing this work, and it was having an impact on them. That is marketing. Like, you only have to give a sample. It's like making the best pizza in the town. If you're focused on making the best sauce and the best dough, People will walk by your shop and smell it, and they'll taste it, and they'll come back and they'll tell everyone about it, and then soon you'll expand your shop. If you've got your head stuck in making flyers and standing on the street corner handing that out, you're not going to be making the best pizza in the world, right? So your pizza might be mediocre. You might get enough people into your shop paying for pizza, but that'll only ever be as far as you'll get, right? So just give the best you can to people. Show up and love people. So I'm going to share one other case study with you, a client by the name of Kate. I actually wrote a little piece about this. This is a recent story. Kate came to me. I got in touch with her a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And the first thing she told me was, she's a psychic medium from the UK. She told me that she wanted to buy a castle. And she wanted to create these amazing retreats, these high-end retreats for people who wanted to tap into their psychic abilities. And I loved her. I immediately fell in love with her. I knew she was going to become a client, but she didn't become a client until last week. And we had our very first call just 2 days ago. And 2 days ago, Kate was charging £50 for 1 hour readings. We had our first call. We did a declutter. We created her offer, and she got on a call with somebody. We looked at who she could speak to, and that person became her first premium client at £6,000. Now, she messaged me about half an hour before she was having that call, and she said, I don't think I could do it. I'm going to drop it down to 3,000. And I reminded her that when she is in a better state of mind, when she's in a calm place, when she is being the best version of herself, her thinking that comes through, the divine thinking that comes through, the wisdom that comes through, is telling her to charge £6,000. And it is only when we are afraid of the thinking that's going on, that's causing us to drop our vibration, that we start to believe, and we get scared, and it starts to say, no, drop the price in half. Well, luckily, she didn't listen to that voice. Luckily, she stuck with it. I was there to support her and remind her not to listen to that voice, because her vibration had just lowered, and she was just getting lower quality thinking. And she offered the program to this person for 6,000, who agreed to it there and then. So she literally increased her prices from £50 an hour to 6,000 for, I think it was a 10 or 12 week program, to help people tap into their psychic abilities. And she did it. And I'm so proud of her. And this is available for you as well. So on a closing note, I want to share with you that the most important part of this video is this. Although it may seem that creating premium offers and making lots of money is the goal here, in fact, it's through committing to self-creating this way of being a loving and powerful person, aka Divatude. I call it Divatude. And the premium offers facilitate this, by the way, because when you have premium offers and you're being paid this, it allows you, it facilitates you to be this way, right? Your whole world just changes from the inside out. So without you having to do hardly anything at all. Miracles become an everyday occurrence as you connect to love and you live in this peaceful way. So you become not only a magnet for clients and money, but for good health, for better relationships, and really for all that you can ever imagine and more. So I want to share with you something new that I'm going to start in 2 weeks' time. It's a new 5-day experience. It's a free experience that you can join in a new group, and I'll be giving the details out soon. But it is part of the pre-qualifying process if you have enjoyed our training or any of our other trainings before, to become one of our 8 infinite creators on our Infinite Creators program. So what I'm doing is I'm inviting you to a very different way of experiencing what it's like to be an infinite creator on a 5-day experience that starts on Monday the 14th of February on Valentine's Day. I'll just explain a little bit to you about what Infinite Creators is. Infinite Creators is a group of just 8 men or women that I run twice a year. It starts in April, the next round, and it's for men and women who want to cultivate a powerful way of being that not only attracts high paying clients without marketing and sales, by stepping into the energy of infinite amounts of love, of power, of energy, of time, and it helps you to create infinite amounts of money, romance, health, success, whatever it is that you want to create. So, for the 5 days starting on the 14th of February, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sharing with you the 11 principles of Divitude that I use with my clients on Infinite Creators, and it's everything really. The whole print, all of those 11 principles is Divitude, right? So I'm going to be sharing those 11 principles of Divitude with you that cultivate who you are being over the 8 months in the Infinite Creators program, which starts in April. So Infinite Creators is for a very specific type of person who's at a certain place in their journey. And as I said, there's only 8 places, 8 being the sign of infinity. And I'm actually an 8 in numerology in both my name and my date of birth. So it's really about dropping into that feeling and that energy of infinite love, because you are that. Really, you can create anything from the inside out when you start to be in this way of being, and things just start to become so much easier. So how we're doing this time around, which is a little different to what I usually do, is I'm offering an opportunity for you to join a pop-up Facebook group, and I'll share the link later on in this group, to be part of this 5-day journey. It's 5 days to becoming a client and a money magnet. And you can participate in this, and what it'll do is, number one, you can see if you are a good fit, or see if Infinite Creators is a good fit for you, and vice versa. I can get to know you a little bit to see if you might be a good fit for the Infinite Creators program too. And even if you don't end up doing that program, because there's only eight places anyway, you get to learn more about yourself and how you can be, or who you can be rather, to attract clients and money. So even if you don't continue or do the Infinite Creators program, that is available for you in this. So it goes much deeper, right, than this live stream today, because you get to have me every single day. I will show up live every day for 5 days. You'll be able to interact with me and the other people in the group. You'll have my daily support. And you'll also have to jump through some hoops and obstacles that might feel out of your comfort zone. This is a really big part of being an Infinite Creator, because we don't grow from a place of comfort. So the work that I do in Infinite Creators is really about, yes, connecting to love and being on that wave of love that supports you in creating anything you want, but also removing the obstacles thought by looking at them and facing your fears. So a lot of times that's really difficult for people. But the caveat to that is we don't have to go into the deep traumas. We don't have to go back to past lives or back into your childhood. We simply have to work on the thoughts where they are now and transmute those thoughts into love. And when we do that, you start to become more and more loving from the inside out. You start to become more and more powerful. You become a powerful infinite creator that literally can create anything you want in infinite amounts. So if you would like to take part in our 5-day experience to becoming a client and a money magnet, drop me a comment below here and I'll reach out to you and send you the link so that you can join. I don't expect many people to join this because, as I say, it is a pre-qualifier. It gives you an opportunity to experience what it is like to be in the Infinite Creators program, and it also helps me to see if you're a good fit as well. But it is also a really transformational experience. So let me know if you'd be interested in being in that. And it'll start on the 14th of February, but you can join the group in the next few days. I'll have it ready to go by then. I want to say thank you for joining this training today. If you've any questions, whether you're curious about Infinite Creators, or whether you're curious about getting into our pop-up group with the 5-day journey coming up, or whether you're just curious in having a conversation about anything that I've shared in today's training or any of my trainings, As I said, it is more important for me to help you than for you to become a client. And the way that I help people, because I can't see everybody, is I love to have one-on-one conversations. So just send me a private message and we can start from there. Sometimes I'm just talking to people on Messenger. Sometimes I'll suggest we jump on a call. Sometimes I make a quick video. Sometimes I send a resource. And that can go on for as long as it goes on for. No one can ever take my time. I give my time with love. I'm in service. This is my purpose in life. This is what I do. And as I say, whether you become a client or not is irrelevant. So there's no sales or anything involved. I'm here to support you no matter where you are in your journey. So feel free to reach out to me about anything that I shared today or in any of the trainings. Thanks so much for showing up, and I will see you soon. Lots of love.